Hi everyone, Mike McNeil from Alcorn Music Studios here. Just going to do a quick video to talk about hand positioning and how to grip the stick. So we're going to talk about match grip, which is where both hands are holding the stick the same way. And so we're going to grab the stick from the thumb and the index finger, and we're not going to grab it really tight. You can actually, if you can pull the stick out gently, then that is about the right amount of pressure. Believe it or not, even when you're playing, if your technique is developing right, there'll be about that much pressure there. Just enough to keep the stick from flying out of your hand, but loose enough that the stick is free to move. So, and then once you've got that thumb and index finger on there, we're going to put the next two fingers underneath the stick, wrap them around, because eventually we're going to use our fingers to move the stick. If you can see that, I'm actually pulling on it. So do that with both hands now, and we place them on the drum, and you'll notice that there is a triangle shape made by the sticks. And then from that point, we just play. Nice and relaxed. So here's some ways to know if you're not in the right position. So again, what we're trying to use the wrist mostly like this, because it's a natural way for the wrist to move. Right, like this. We don't want to necessarily put the wrist sideways and try to use it like that. That's not a really great position. So if you notice, and this is again, if you know how to know if you're in the kind of the wrong position, if your sticks are forming a straight line instead of a triangle, that's an indication you're probably in that sideways wrist position. So if the sticks are in a straight line, also if you stick your thumbs out and they go up, again, that probably means you're in the sideways wrist position. Whereas if you're in this position that we're trying to achieve, if you stick your thumbs out, they sort of point in towards each other sideways. And the sticks again make a triangle formation. Now obviously, it goes without saying, if your palms are facing up, it's kind of obvious. That's not what we're looking for either. And so one other thing to mention is that we're kind of playing in between those two positions to be clear. If you just grab the stick with your wrist perfectly in this position that I'm talking about, it would actually go sideways, like perpendicular to your body, like this, and that's not going to help either. So what we do is we kind of go somewhere in between here and here, right? We don't want to be here, and we don't want to be here. So we're kind of here. And what that means is the wrist it's not perfectly flat necessarily. In most cases, it's maybe turned just a little bit. But you'll notice the final position is much closer to flat than it is to sideways. We're not halfway in between. We're basically perfectly flat, and then just a little adjustment like this. And that's what it is. Now you don't have to think too much about that. It's if you just follow what I said leading up to this point, you'll probably just naturally play that way. You don't have to overthink that little adjustment I mentioned, but just to be clear, that's how it works. All right. Well, I hope that helps you with your hand positioning.